All right, we'll get you to that breaking news on Boeing in just a few moments, but we begin with the countdown to Election Day as Kamala Harris and Donald Trump continue their final blitz to sway voters. Yesterday, Trump wrapped up a pair of stops outside Atlanta, then ignited a packed Duluth, Georgia arena with fireworks. He also lit into his opponent, though, for taking time off from the campaign.
Our country is being destroyed and crippled by Kamala Harris, a person that got no votes. Therefore, she's a threat to democracy. If you're running for the presidency, she takes her time off. I've gone 52 days in a row, and I'm not taking any days off, that I can tell you.
Meanwhile, on social media, Trump turned his focus to his former White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly. You'll recall that this week, Kelly revealed then President Trump spoke favorably of Adolf Hitler. In a post on Truth Social, Trump slammed Kelly as, quote, a total degenerate, calling him a lowlife and a bad general. For her part, Harris attended a CNN town hall last night outside Philadelphia, where she was asked if she thinks Trump is a fascist.
John Kelly, a four-star Marine general who was his longest-serving chief of staff, gave an interview recently in the last 2 weeks of this election, talking about how dangerous Donald Trump is. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has said he is a fascist to the core.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted.
We've got team coverage for you this morning. CBS News campaign reporter Olivia Rinaldi and Shawna Mizelle join us. So let's start with Shawna. You're in Durham, North Carolina, following the Harris campaign. The vice president was clear and quick in answering that question about Trump and fascism. What else did she have to say about John Kelly's comments, and what stood out to you about that town hall last night?
Hey, good morning, Errol. That's right. We heard from the vice president last night, and she really sought to convey this message to those voters in this town hall in Pennsylvania that she thinks the former president Donald Trump is a danger and unfit to serve in the Oval Office or be reelected to be president again. But this is a message that the Harris campaign has been leaning into even before this new reporting. You had Tim Walz actually voting early yesterday, and he came out to address reporters right after that. But he quickly pivoted from the fact that he had voted in support of himself and Kamala Harris to this latest reporting from The Atlantic that former President Donald Trump said that he wishes his generals would be more like Hitler's. Obviously, CBS News has not confirmed this, but the Harris campaign is attempting to use this to illustrate the danger that they think former President Donald Trump poses. But a couple of other things stuck out to me in that town hall last night. Number one, you had Harris, who often says that she would sign a bill into law that would codify the right to an abortion. She actually was asked about the fact that she does not have a Senate majority and how hard that would be without a majority in the House or the Senate. And she said that we need to take a look at the filibuster. Now, this is a comment that has obviously drawn ire from some Democrats and Republicans alike, but Harris still leaning into this position. And lastly, I'll just note that Harris is still attempting to introduce herself to voters. She was even mentioning and revealing yesterday that she prays once a day, sometimes twice a day. She's talking about her religion, but being out on the campaign trail over the last several months, a lot of voters said that they don't know enough about her. They need to know more. So Harris attempting to not only introduce herself, but differentiate herself from President Joe Biden, but all of this comes in this crucial period where we are just 2 weeks away from the election.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Shawna Mizelle, thank you for that. Let's jump over now to Olivia Rinaldi. She's in West Palm Beach with more on the Trump campaign. Olivia, how are Trump and his supporters reacting to these claims about fascism and Donald Trump? It's a serious charge.
Yeah, good to be with you, Errol. This claim of fascism is not really resonating with Trump voters. I was traveling with him all day yesterday, tracking the fallout really from that Atlantic piece and New York Times piece that we had seen about Trump praising Hitler's generals. But you got to remember, I'm also traveling with the Trump campaign and going to these rallies where it's filled with Trump faithful. These are the type of people who are waiting outside in rain, snow, in the heat we experienced yesterday in Georgia for hours just to get a glimpse at the former president. So those are really resonating with voters. But on the messaging that Harris is pushing forward about democracy and fascism as a whole, I was talking with Trump campaign senior advisors yesterday about this and what they think, because this is a pivot in messaging that we've seen over the last several days from the vice president, going from an economic message or talking about her offers to voters out there, instead making this race again about former President Donald Trump. And they told me that they felt the democracy messaging was a little bit off the beat in the tone of where we are in the final days of this race. The senior advisor specifically told me that they will continue to go to places where rents are high, where grocery prices are high, and where gas prices are high, while she's making the argument about democracy. They're really making that bet that people care more about issues like the economy and immigration rather than democracy. So that's where they're at in these final days, as they're making these crucial final pitches to any of those undecided voters that might still be out there.
Yeah, and it's an election in which every single vote will count. Olivia Rinaldi, thank you so much.